What is up, YouTube family? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Javon, and today we are going to be doing a deep dive into my CS degree I attained while attending the University of Alabama in Huntsville. Peep the paraphernalia. That's how you say it. Anyways, doesn't matter. We are doing a deep dive into my CS degree. Hopefully this is going to help anyone who wants to get a CS degree or who just wants to take a look at what it looks like to go through college semester by semester. I have questions coming from family members about what it's like to get your college degree, what things are looking like nowadays, and I have a degree, so I figured I might as well speak on this topic and let you guys join in the conversation as well. Let me know down in the comments if you like what I'm saying, if you have any similar experiences, and I'll make sure to comment back with you. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into my CS degree at UAH. Okay, so my first semester started off in the fall of 2014, and I started off taking 17 credit hours. Usually you have to take 16 credit hours per semester if you want to graduate within 4 years, assuming that your degree requires 128 hours like mine did. So I started off with 17, one more than I needed, but I really wanted to hit the ground running. So 17 credit hours, that translates into 7 total classes. And I finished off my first semester with a 3.8 GPA. I got all A's and 1 B. The classes that I took was CS 102, and that was an introductory to programming. That was a really light class. We learned about if statement, for loops, while loops, etc. I had previous background knowledge in that area before because of my high school. I did a lot of programming, network stuff in my high school. So this was a nice, refreshing thing to me and a good place to catch up for people who don't know what coding looked like. So we started off coding in C in that class, and we transpired through the year. We got better and more into depth with different subjects. Next class I want to go into is CS 105. That's an ethics class. Really cool, laid back class. Mainly what we talk about in there is the ethics of things. So what is right, what is wrong, what is frowned upon. Certain real world subjects come up, like if a self-driving car runs into traffic and hits and kills some people, who's responsible? Who holds the blame? So there's a lot of real world content in that class, but it wasn't anything too hard. I walked away with an A in that class. Next, we have CS 145. This was an introductory to multimedia and gaming. I went into this class really pumped, really excited. I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm about to come out coding Call of Duty, Halo, whatever. It didn't turn out like that. It didn't turn out like that at all. So instead, this class was more so of an introductory to a lot of filming practices, how to shoot videos, edit, cut, a lot of different tools that the professionals use. Really still get content because I'm making this video right now using some of the tools that I learned from in this class, but it is not what I thought it was going in. I thought I was going to be gaming completely, artificial intelligence, and it was not that. Moving forward, I got an A in that class as well. Moving forward is EH 105, that's English Honors. Nothing much to say about that class. I walked away with a B. That was the only class that semester that got me a B in, and a lot of writing. I'm not good at writing. Oh well. After that, we had FYE 101. This is an introductory class that a lot of college freshmen are kind of forced to take. It teaches you a lot of things like resume building. They encourage you to go to the career fair. They show you around campus. It's an easy A. You don't have to do much, but it's a nice transition from high school into college. Moving forward, we got Honors 100. That was lecture series, and that wasn't even a B, C, D type of class. It was a pass-fail. I passed it. A lot of people came in, lectured toward the freshman class, nothing major. After that, it was Cal A. That's MA 171, and I walked away with an A in that class as well. I love math, so I had no problems with it. Jumping into spring semester, I only took 1 CS class this semester, but what can you do? So for that semester, I ended up taking CS 121, and I walked away with a B in that class. That was Computer Science 1. It was a step up from the introductory computer science class. So instead of coding in C, we coded in C++, and we learned a lot more concepts such as programming and object-oriented languages, or not languages, programming and object-oriented style, learning about pointers, memory allocation, and things of that nature. Afterwards, I stepped into Communications 113. I walked away with an A in that class. That was a real fun class, taught taught me how to communicate. I recommend it for any introvert that does have problems speaking to crowds, has problems speaking to people. It's really going to get you out of your comfort zone, which is really good, especially for the engineering and the science majors. After that, it was English 209, EH 209. I walked away with an A in that class. Nothing much to say. Once again, you see the honors title attached to it. Earlier on in my college career, I was a part of the honors college. I wanted to be a part of that college because I figured it would give me a leg up when applying for jobs. But once I got internships, once I got jobs, I later on dropped the honors college because it started to get a little too dicey with the classes, and I already got the job. So moving forward, we got MA 172. That was Cal B. I love that class. I came out with an A, no complaints there. Afterwards, we have Physics 111, and that was my first physics class, I believe. Yeah, it was my first physics class. I passed it with a B, and I passed the lab with an A. So that was the end of spring semester. Summer 2015. I know what you're thinking. Why are you taking summer classes? I know what I was thinking. Why am I taking summer classes? And I think I wanted to get ahead, but at the same time, you are going to have so many chances and opportunities in college to get ahead. Save the summer classes for later on. Enjoy your summer in your first semester of school, or try to get an internship or something of that nature. But to just throw away your summers on classes, debatable. But if you're going to, it is a good way to get ahead, like I said. So summer 2015, I ended up taking 2 classes for a total of 7 credit hours. And the first class I took was MA 201, Cal C. I walked away with a C in that class. And the second class I took was CS 214, Introduction to Discrete Structures. That was a CS class, and it was one of the weed out classes. And I really did feel like they were trying to weed us out. A lot of people dropped from that class. I stuck around, managed to get a B, had a phenomenal teacher, learned a lot of new concepts, a lot of things about logic and theory and things of that nature. I'm really bad when it comes to theory. I'm more so better with application-based things, but you got to learn it along the way, so you take what you take. For my fall semester 2014, I walked away with a GPA of 3.8. My spring semester 2015, I walked away with a GPA of 3.719. And for that summer, since I got a C and a B, I walked away with a GPA of 3.487. Not too bad. So going into the fall of 2015, I had taken a total credit hours of 13 hours, and that equals up to 5 classes. So the first class I took was CS 221, and that was Comp Sci 2, Data Structures. This is a class that you really want to pay attention to, especially if you are a CS major planning to be a software engineer or something of that nature later on in life. This is a class where a lot of jobs, when they're giving you interviews, are going to pull their questions from. They're going to ask you about binary trees. They're going to ask you about search algorithms. They're going to ask you about pivoting through hashing algorithms, hashing tables, etc. This is a very important class, and it's one of those classes where a lot of other things are based upon, so you definitely want to pay attention in here. I got a B in that class, and I was pretty okay with it. Moving on, I have EH 201, and that was Honors Seminar Literature. Nothing much to say here. Moving on, I got a B in that class. Moving on, I have MA 244, and that was an intro to linear algebra. I actually really did enjoy that class. I got a B in there as well. Nothing much to say. The work was very tedious because that type of math is very tedious, but it's nothing hard to understand. And as long as you get a good teacher, have good friends to study with, it should not be a problem at all. After that, I had PH 112, and that was the second series to physics. When you're in the College of Science, which the computer science was, you have to take a series in a science, so I chose physics, and that was my second physics class. I ended up getting a B in there and a B in the lab as well. So for that fall semester, I ended up with a GPA of 3.365 since I had gotten all Bs, but I was also starting to do an internship as well, so I wasn't stressing it too hard. Jumping into spring 2016, I had taken a total credit hours of 12 hours. I started off taking 15. I'm going to admit to you guys that I dropped one of these classes. No shame if you drop classes. It happens to the best of us. And I think it happened to me 3 times in my college career, so no shame at all. So I took a total of 12 credit hours after I had dropped that one class, and I finished off the semester with a 3.438. So for my spring semester, spring 2016, like I was saying, my first class that I took was CS 309. That was switching string theory. I got a B in that class, and that was very much low level. We talked about gates, we talk about AND gates, OR gates, etc., and how to combine all of these things. And we even programmed a little bit with an old type of programming language. I had a very good time. It's one of those classes you want to pay attention to if you want to work on lower level coding, if you want to do anything with hardware mixed into it. That's a good class to pay attention to. The next class that I had was CS317. This is another class that you definitely want to keep your eye on as far as jobs later on down the road if you want to be a software engineer, because this was an introduction to algorithms. And this is algorithms is a class where a lot of job interview questions are going to be pulled from as well. They're going to ask you about searching algorithms. They're going to ask you about complexity and time space and things of that nature, all of which you will get from that particular class. Moving forward, you got CS 321, which was Java oriented programming, and that was a fun class as well. It was almost like my C++ class that I took earlier, but in Java. So it was a lot of object-oriented things. We talked about classes, talked about objects, pointers, memory allocation. We made a couple of programs, some group exercises where we got together. My team made a GUI-based fitness tracker. Really great class. I walked away with an A in there, and I also walked away with an A in my algorithms class, if I didn't say so. So after that, I had MA 385, which was an introduction to probability and statistics. Dropped it. I had a lot going on, so I decided to drop that class because I wasn't doing really well in there. So after that, I had music 100, and of course I got a 100 in music, so no problems. Moving on to fall of 2016, I took a total of 12 credit hours. I initially started off with 15 credit hours, but I dropped another class that semester as well, so 12 total. And I finished off fall of 2016 with a 3.403 GPA. So the classes I took then was AST 106, which is Astrology 106. And you're probably thinking, why did you take astrology? The answer is really simple. For the College of Science at UAH, the people have to take a series of a science class, and they also have to take an additional science class. I wasn't going to take chemistry. I wasn't going to take earth system science. This was my easiest out that I could find, so I took it and I got a B. And you're probably wondering, if it was an easy out, why did you get a B in there? Next class after that I have to introduce you to is going to be, wait for it, CS 308, Intro to Assembly Language Programming. And you guys, I had to focus a lot in that class, a lot of mental space, a lot of team building, because me and my homeboy were taking it at the same time. And man, we were throwing the books at the wall at this class. This one was hard, mainly because of I don't want to say mainly because of the professor, because it gets to a certain point in college where you have to teach yourself the subject. You can't, if your professor isn't teaching you, then that's still not an excuse to get a bad grade. Everything is all on you. That's the college mentality. So even though you pay for a professor and you hope that they show up and do their job, sometimes you're going to have to supplement that with your own research, your own get-to attitude. So me and my friend, we threw everything we had at this class. We both walked away with an A, and that was the proudest A I had ever achieved, because it took so much out of me to get. But also, since it took so much out of me to get that A, my other classes suffered, so I got a B in astrology, like I mentioned. I also got a B in the next class on the list, which is CS390. No, actually, I dropped that class because my assembly class was taking too much out of me, so I dropped CS390. I got a B in Economics 142, and I got a B in EH301, which was technical writing. Technical writing is a good class because it teaches you about resume building, cover letters, what do you do for job applications, some tricks to get through the job application process, etc. So that's a good class to keep in mind. I got to be in it, but good semester. I finished off that semester with a 3.403 GPA. Spring 2017, I took 12 credit hours once again. I dropped one, so I started off at 15 and I dropped one again. So I ended off that GPA with 3.416 for spring of 2017. The classes that I took was CS 330 and CS 413. 330 was artificial intelligence and gaming. And you guys, once again, I thought I was going to be a programming gaming master. I was going to be coding Call of Duty and everything, and it didn't go out that way. However, I did learn a lot in that class, so it was a nice one to keep under your belt. CS 413 was an introduction to architecture, computer science, and I can't really remember much from that class except that it had an assembly programming language theme attached to it. So I did pretty well. I walked away with an A in that and also an A in my artificial and gaming. The other classes is I had a history class. That's not really much to talk about. I had MA 385, probability and statistics. I dropped it again. That was my second time dropping it. That one made me upset because it's like, all right, come on. 2 times dropping the same class, get it together. But whatever, you win, you lose some. And the other class that I had was Sociology 100. That was a nice win for me. I walked away with a B in that class. Fall of 2017, this is my senior year, so I was ramping some things up. I took 3 CS classes. The first one is CS 499, Senior Design. I had a really good time with that class. We had a project where we had to basically create a website that implemented Zillow's functionality. So we created something that allowed realtors to upload some listings. It allowed people to view houses. It also allowed people to set up appointments and things of that nature. So it was a really fun time. My group did a phenomenal job. I walked away with an A in that class. The next CS class I took was CS 524, which was Introduction to Programming Languages. I did a lot of coding and a lot of languages I had not previously touched before. So that's always a good one to have under your belt. The last CS class I took for that semester was CS 570, and that was Computer Networking. That was a really good class because the following year I actually got a certification in Network Plus by CompTIA, so that class helped build a lot of my foundation. Afterwards, I had some math classes. I had MA 301, which was elementary number theory. That teamed up very well with some of my computer science classes, so I was happy with it. And I had MA 385 for the final time, and I got a B in that class. That was the only class that semester that I got a B in. The rest was all A's. And I finished out fall of 2017 with a 3.481 GPA. Spring of 2018, I took a total of 12 credit hours, 15 really, but the last 3 credit hour class went to my graduate program, not my undergraduate. For undergraduate was concerned, I only took 12 credit hours, which summed up to be 5 classes, 4 of them going directly to my undergraduate. And I walked away with a 3.54 GPA, which is really good. That put me in place for cum laude. That was pretty good for you. So spring of 2018, I had CS 480. That was an introductory to mobile and digital forensics. Really nice class. I'm personally interested in cybersecurity, so that was a nice background. Afterwards, I had CS 490, and that was operating systems. I got an A in my mobile class, and I also got an A in this class. This one was a little bit harder because our teacher got sick halfway through the semester, so we had to switch teachers, and that change was really huge, but I managed to push through it and still get my A. Afterwards, I had CS 565, which was network security. Really fun class. We did a lot of Mmap scanning, a lot of Wireshark tools using, and if you know anything about those tools, then it's a really good thing to get familiarity with if you want to go into the security field. Afterwards, I had CS 585, and that was computer security. That class taught more about encryption and hashing algorithms and things of that nature. Still a good class. It paired off really well, and I had an amazing time. The last class I had was IS 663, and that was computer forensics. It was my graduate class, and I just finished the year off right that semester with all A's. And like I said, I walked away with a 3.548 GPA. Now, that total sum brings me up to 119 hours, but I need 128 credit hours to graduate with my bachelor's. So where did the other 9 come from? They came from community college. Yeah, community college and a technical college. In the summer of 2012, when I was in high school, I took a 3-hour credit class, and that helped me out. And in the summer of 2017, I took history and I took art at a community college that was local to my area. So both of those things, both of those classes at both of those institutions gave me the rest of the points that I needed to be able to graduate with my CS degree. And boom, there you have it, a complete walkthrough of my CS degree. All right, guys, we have reached the end of our video. If you like the content, then do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, make sure you turn them blue and red, and you can pick up on my later videos for this playlist later on. I'm going to include a whole bunch of college series, a whole bunch of college things that I went through just to give people the walkthrough and what things look like. So this is not the last video in that area. Stay tuned. I have so much more coming your way. Tell me about your experience in college down in the comments below. Does your experience with your CS degree look anything like mine? Did you go for your master's? Do you want to hear about my master's? I achieved my master's in cybersecurity, and I plan on making a video like that for you guys as well if you're curious. If you like the content, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope everyone have a good day. Peace, love, and happiness.